It has taken me a really long time to come around to enjoying many of even the finest of found footage films. I've never found the style to be particularly appealing, and my earliest exposure to these films was during the early 2010s heyday, where it seemed like every other shitty horror movie was found footage, solely for the budget constraints and box office returns rather than being an effective style to employ. Not having a filmmaker who knows exactly what their vision is can be especially deadly in found footage, and this fact has kept me away from these movies for a large portion of my life. In the past year or so, I've started to come around, and even just this past week, I thoroughly enjoyed Shelby Oaks, which, while not even majority found footage, has some of its finest moments when it's employing that strategy. Wreck is a film that I had heard a lot about over the years, but primarily avoided for the reasons I just stated. It's a beloved film, and the last thing that I like being is a hater on a movie that a lot of people love, especially when it's a part of a genre that I historically just simply don't vibe with. But after watching the film, I not only have a new favorite found footage movie, but a huge newfound appreciation for the overall potential of this subgenre of filmmaking. The film is, without credits, about 74 minutes long, and I would say for a solely found footage film, that's the perfect length. With the lack of an ability to do more elaborate multicam setups, and the stories usually being pretty small scale, the shorter the better usually when it comes to found footage. Here, the film wastes absolutely no time. We're introduced to Angela and Pablo in the opening moments, as a TV team assigned to follow a team of firefighters around for the night in Barcelona. And by about minute 10, they're sent on what is supposed to be a routine call that inevitably divulges into complete and utter terror. The direction here is unbelievably strong. Once the carnage starts to get going, the film is broken up into probably only about 10 shots for the final hour, or at least that's the way they design it to hide cuts somewhere, and the progression of events is utterly seamless. There are a lot of moving parts here that require complicated off-screen setups in real time, and everything has to be timed down to the millisecond while simultaneously not feeling overstated or not spontaneous. And they walk that balance here beautifully. There also is hardly a moment to breathe here amidst the chaos. There are moments where things aren't necessarily happening super directly, but there are still things to be concerned about off-screen, and once the characters realize there's no coming out of their situation, all hell breaks loose between them. There is a really dark and realistic look at desperation here that I found really intriguing. What all of these characters are willing to do to each other so drastically at the drop of a hat purely because of the circumstances was probably the most scary aspect of the film for me. There's hardly ever a release of tension, either. The consistency and the momentum of suspense and overall buildup was masterful here, and they also consistently up the ante with the violence. It's not like it peaks halfway through and you have to ride that high for the rest of the runtime. The scariest moments are the final ones, and when the film does a smash cut to black with hard rock music overlaying, you hardly feel relaxed. But at the same time, the craftsmanship on display here is enough to make you feel incredibly pumped once it's all over. I suppose if I had to point to any issues I may have had, they would ironically come down to very small moments in which it seems like the filmmakers mildly abandon the commitment to the real-time found footage style of filmmaking. There's a moment somewhat early on where Angela asks Pablo to replay a moment of the shot for her so she can make sure the coverage was adequate, and you see the live footage stop and rewind before replaying exactly what you already just saw. There are some moments of, albeit strategic, audio manipulation that feel non-diegetically manipulative and kind of take you out of the realism, but for the most part, it's one or two very minor problems that at the end of the day come down to personal preference. I was completely enraptured by this movie. It didn't terrify me necessarily, probably because we've become so used to zombies in media that any use of them now feels a bit innocuous, but the craft on display here really made me rethink my feelings on the found footage subgenre, and there are multiple setups here that I will continue to find difficult to forget. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching the video, and for continuing to tune in to our October horror binge this year. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell when you do so to be notified every day this month when videos are going up. Thank you all again. Like the video, share the video, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.